Welcome back. It's the Flow Friday Sports Show on Flow FM. It is Hume netball time and time to welcome our regular correspondent, Aimee Riley, back to the Flow airwaves. Aimee, lovely to have you back with us. How are you?
I'm great, thanks, Els. It's always an enjoyable chat.
It is. Tell us how are things on the land right now, Aimee?
Yeah, they're good. We've had a bit of rain and we're sort of heading towards the tail end of our season, so it's nice. The canola's out in full bloom around our area, which for a farming community and a farming league, I suppose, with so many little communities involved, it's a signal to us that finals is nearly upon us.
The safe canola selfies, is that the season that we're enjoying at the moment?
It is, yes. The canola looks beautiful. It's full bloom in yellow, which to me says fungicides, but to a lot of people it says nice photos. So.
Absolutely. No trespassing, though. Let's take a look at the weekend that was in netball, Aimee, starting with Osborne and their game against the Giants. We thought the Giants might be able to provide some sort of pressure, but a pretty easy day out for Osborne. 57-24, that one finished up last weekend.
Yes, it was a wet round actually for us. We had quite a few wet games throughout the weekend and some welcome rain, which was fantastic for all of our farmers, but it certainly made for some interesting netball. And the Osborne Giants game was no different. It was wet conditions, which led to Osborne and Giants both playing a slower game. Osborne made the most of opportunities and made sure that they took any loose balls that were up for grabs. They really showed why they are in premiership contention with high accuracy in the goals and still hitting their drives and targets in tough conditions. Giants moved the ball well down the court. They weren't always able to maintain possession in attack, and as much as they maintained their quality of game, it probably wasn't quite where it's been the last few weeks. No doubt they'll rebound, and in the final round, they'll bring back their form. Giants' best on was Erin Hogan, and Osborne's was Bridie Willis and Georgia O'Connell.
All right, taking a look at the Murray Magpies and their game against CDHBU. Entertaining game, 10 goals the difference, 41-31. Another loss for CDHBU. They'll be looking forward to the end of the season, but for the Murray Magpies, a decent win for them to celebrate.
Absolutely. This was a great performance from both teams. Magpies particularly are stoked about this game. They had a good win, a strong 4 quarters with them continuously using their intensity throughout the entire game. That saw them walk away with the win ultimately. CDHBU tried their absolute best as they have the entire season, gave it their all. Again, with injuries, they had some girls come up, including a 15s player making her debut in A grade, which is an incredible effort. A tough year for the girls. They've never stopped fighting, but again, was not their day on the weekend. Magpies best on Jordan Pertel and Carly Fury, and CDHBUs were Bridie Lavis, Shelby Richardson and Neve Lavis.
Moving along to Culcan and How Long going at it. How Long keeping on with their 68-15 win against Culcan. How did you see that game?
Culcan knew coming into this game, and it's no surprise that their mindset was it was going to be a tough game against a formidable and finals-ready How Long. Culcan really focused on being as competitive as they could, and they met their team goals, which they were really pleased about. How Long were absolutely stoked to get a good win in the rain and put together a great, consistent effort as they head into the final round. Culcan's best on were Millie Salmon, Bobby Sutherland and Sam Russell. How Long's were Lily Smith and Gemma Coburn.
Strong win from Henty and a strong performance, I imagine, too, beating Brocklesby Burrumbuttock Saints 70-18.
Yes, a great game for Henty in the wet against BB Saints. They made sure to push the whole 60 minutes, which is something they've been really focusing on. Hands over pressure and quick transitions worked really well for Henty as they officially locked their final spot in for A grade. It's the first time in quite a few years, which is very exciting for them. Saints went into this game really short on players with only half of their regulars available. B graders and juniors really stepped up for them, did a fantastic job, but ultimately Henty were too strong on the day. Henty's best on were Holly Kinning and Kelsey Skiers, and Saints was Hannah Canane.
Okay, we had Billabong Crows going at it with Jindera, and this one finished 61-22, a very easy win in the end for Jindera.
Yeah, the score probably doesn't reflect how difficult the game was. Tough conditions, intermittent rain, a lot of wind and some really cold temperatures all caused a bit of havoc across the game at some point or another. Jindera went out strong early and they came home really strong to post a solid win. Crow's young talent really shined throughout the game, and whilst Jindera made the most of the opportunities from turnovers, Crows remained consistent and never gave up. And certainly, whilst they were beaten by some more mature heads, there's some great talent in those teams that will be really formidable in years to come. Crow's best on were Gabby Coghill and Lauren Packer, and Jindera's Tegan Vogel and Sarah Krause.
And finally, the game that we forecast last week to be the game of the round was that one between Lockhart and Holbrook. It ended in Holbrook's favour, 37-24. What were the takeaways from you from that game, Aimee?
Well, last time they met, these teams were Holbrook 52 to Lockhart 23. So the margin has certainly shrunk in that aspect. Holbrook knew coming in it wasn't going to be an easy game for them. Lockhart have been fighting really hard for a final spot, and Holbrook were wanting to secure up one of those top spots in final. There was a few errors in the first quarter from Holbrook, but they built some smarter decision-making in throughout the game to increase the margin, and they utilised rotations and fresh legs to their advantage. This was a big game for Lockhart and a must-win, so I know they are disappointed with the loss. They had a great start until they had a bit of a third quarter slump. Holbrook really stepped it up, and it was hard to break through after that. They will still keep fighting in the hopes of securing a final spot in this weekend, though. We know that those Lockhart girls are never down and out. Lockhart's best on were Tegan Hannon and Hannah Keeley. Holbrook were Amy Platt, Chloe Hamblin and Claire Marriott.
All right, a look at the ladder shows Jindera top, Osborne second, Howlong third, Holbrook fourth, Henty fifth, Giants sixth, Lockhart seventh, Billabong Crows in eighth, in ninth the Murray Magpies, 10th Culcan, 11th Brocklesby Burrumbuttock Saints, and at the foot of the table CDHBU. What stands out for you there, Aimee? We've certainly dissected the ladder a lot over the last few weeks, but as it currently stands, 17 games in, how do we feel?
I certainly think that the top three are locked in. I can't see them changing this week. I think the percentage differences in each of them as well makes that probably significantly more difficult. The Holbrook, Henty, Ramble, Bundry, Waller Giants and Lockhart in that 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. Holbrook and Henty will make finals now as well. There might be some slight positional changes depending on how this 18th round finishes up. The really interesting point for me is Lockhart and Ramble, Bundry Giants. With Lockhart on 38 and Giants on 40, if Giants did drop this game and Lockhart win this weekend, they could potentially reverse their positions with them being very close percentage-wise. So that will be an interesting one for me this weekend to see how both of them go, but the ladder is pretty much set for me. We won't see much change throughout the last round.
Over to your preview section for the games going on tomorrow. Let's start with Osborne and Culcan. This one will be a foregone conclusion, Aimee.
Yes, 13 to 104 last time they met. Probably don't need to mention that the 104 was Osborne. It'll be a tough game for Culcan to finish on. No doubt they will remain positive, the same as they have throughout the entire season, and work on hitting their individual goals instead of focusing on the scoreline. And we hope that, they meet those goals and they have a great finish off in a game that they're happy with at the end of the season, and they look to refresh coming into the next season.
Jindera at home to Lockhart. This is a great opportunity for Lockhart to finish the season with a promising display, but it'll still be a case of Jindera being the strong favourite here.
Yeah, Jindera do go in the favourites. It was 27 to 55 Jindera's way last time, and they actually only met not too long ago. They played round 12. I think it was the last time together, so not too far back. Lockhart need this win to keep their finals hopes alive, and as I mentioned, Giants would need to drop their game against Howlong. It is a tough ask for Lockhart, as Jindera will be really wanting to fire in preparation for finals where they're expected to feature. Jindera do go in as the favourite, but desperate players and players that really want to make finals, stranger things have happened.
All the pressure on Henty going into their game against CDHBU. They will want to win and win well, Aimee.
Certainly, yes. They'll be wanting to try and push for a good percentage and a good amount of points and to finish as high as they possibly can in the ladder to get a good spot coming into finals. Last time these two teams met, it was 54 to 17 Henty's way. CDHBU will be, really similar to Culcan, probably won't get the win, but they'll be wanting to finish on a high as a team. we do expect that Henty will want to put in that really solid effort getting ready for finals.
Holbrook hosting the Billabong Crows. Could we get a closer game here if the Crows are at their best?
Well, last time these teams met, it was 38-41 Holbrook's way last time. This was a cracky game, and I expect it will be again. Holbrook have had some fantastic games, but so have Crows this season. We know they've struggled a lot with injuries, and that's probably hurt their consistency, but they're not a team to be sniffed at. Crows can't make finals, but they will want to finish on a high, and Holbrook will be really wanting this win to hit that top 4 spot finish. My tip is Holbrook, but I do expect this to be a pretty good game.
The Brocklesby-run Buddock Saints host Murray Magpies. How do you see this one going?
The last time these two teams met, it was 54-50 Magpies' way. So this was a very close game, only 4 goals in it. Both teams, as we've talked about, they won't make finals, but they will want to finish out the season with a win. BB Saints have probably struggled with their consistency a little bit, and they've certainly spoken about that as well. They've had some injuries and a bit of team movement. Magpies have a really young, inexperienced team, but they have made significant improvement. I again expect this will be a close game, but I think Magpies will get the win.
Finally, it is How Long hosting the Giants. What do you expect to see at full time there?
This game last time was 43-19 How Long's way. Giants need this to finish in the 6th in case Lockhart wins. How Long, as I mentioned before, I can't see them not being in third position at the moment with the way that the ladder's panning out. So it'll be both teams really wanting to fire. One team, their final spot is on the line. Expect this to be a great game as well. Giants have got some fantastic young talent, and How Long have proven themselves over the last few years to be a powerhouse. So I think this will be an excellent game. I think How Long are the pick for me at the moment.
Aimee Riley, always great to catch up. Our Hume netball correspondent. All the very best with everything, and enjoy the netball. We'll speak to you next week.
Thanks so much, Alice. It'll be great to catch up.